Hi there. We talked to Tiffany Tompkins today and her experience with perimenopause. And we talked about the challenges she faced regarding fertility and the lack of awareness around women's health issues, particularly during perimenopause, and how she turned that painful lesson into products that really helped women in perimenopause. We also really dive into the importance of self-care and leadership and soft power that allows her to run two companies in two different countries at the same time. We had so much fun talking about our journeys of perimenopause and how incredibly amazing it is that we begin to really normalize talking about this really important, crucial stage in women's life. I cannot wait to present you this really amazing conversation, and let's dive in. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Soft Power Project. And I'm so excited to welcome our guest today. She is Tiffany Tompkins, and she's an incredible woman. And I cannot wait to get into the conversation with her. And I think she resembles resilience and strength, and she's turning her pain and her lessons into gold for women everywhere. So, hi, Tiffany.
Hi, thank you so much for having me on your podcast today.
Oh,
Really
it's
appreciate it.
absolutely pleasure. I mean, I know you're such a busy person. You actually have multiple jobs. Um, I'm gonna let you introduce that.
I am pretty busy, but I really love it. I live in a small town in New Zealand, but I work remotely for an organization called Organics Aotearoa New Zealand, and Aotearoa is the Māori way for saying New Zealand. And I look after the organic sector here. So we are the national umbrella organization for everything that's sold in country and out of country, and the whole ecosystem that thrives around the organic sector here in New Zealand. So we're about a little over $1 billion industry.
That's
And
incredible. Yeah.
it's a lot of fun. So as the chief executive of that, I get to meet all kinds of wonderful people and farmers and producers of some of the coolest products that come out of the country. So I really feel blessed to have been able to take this role on over the last 3 years. And when I'm not doing that, I'm working on a company called Opal and Joy, which is actually based in the United States, where I'm from. And Opal and Joy, we sell perimenopausal supplements to help
Mm.
women transition through perimenopause.
My goodness. So you're basically working for two different time zones and very different, by the way.
Yes. Yes, when you think of it that way. I have a lot of 7 a.m. meetings.
Gotcha. I mean that itself, your background, it's so interesting. I mean, I wanted to know a little bit more just your transition from America, because I know you're from Colorado and being in Colorado, growing up there, and then transitioned to New Zealand. But I know you actually worked in China for a couple of years as well.
I did. Yeah, I have a master's degree in international trade policy, so I actually was recruited by the government in Beijing to come and teach trade policy to, and mostly intellectual property rights and things like that, to
Mm,
different officials and others that were very interested in the World Trade Organization when China joined the WTO.
right.
And that whole experience set me on this long, beautiful journey through life, and
Mm,
ended up getting really involved in fair trade, and through fair trades, found organics, and really loved the organic sector and the messages around organics and the principles around organics. And yeah, it started a career basically in the organic sector, which is Which is really fun because when you find that passion, that's something that you really
Mhm.
believe in, and those principles and those values that you can
Yeah.
really resonate with, it
Mhm.
doesn't seem so much like work is sort of your life mission.
Mm. And I actually followed you on LinkedIn as well. And I know that integrity is just so important to you. And that translates in everything that you're doing. And also, I know that, you're co-founder of the Opal and Joy, and that's actually why we're connected. And but you have a beautiful story, an incredible journey that kind of leads you to that, right?
Yes. So I was living in Colorado. I had my daughter when I was 36, and which is a little bit older than some women, but we're
Yeah.
having babies at all kinds of ages these
Yeah.
days. It's really
Hmm.
cool. And I was trying to have another baby and
Mm,
couldn't, and found out that I had premature ovarian failure.
mm,
They doctor basically told me if you wanted to have another child, you would have to have an egg donor. And I said, you know what? I'm fine. I feel really, really happy that I was able to have one child. We'll stick with that. It wasn't the easiest pregnancies either. so so one was fine.
mm,
And then it was more about talking about my fertility than what was actually happening with my body and the changes that were going to be happening with the loss of viable eggs. And
mm,
they call it premature because it was before I was 40. And basically what I found out years later is that I was actually in perimenopause and barreling down the road towards menopause, and no one told me anything about that part of it. They just said,
mm,
"Your fertility, these are the issues you have, you know, good luck. You need an egg donor. And if you want to go this route, this is what you'd have to do." So accepting my fate and saying, "That's okay. We'll just stick with one child. This is, we're very lucky to have our daughter Scarlett. We love her very much. This is my fate. This is okay." And really then to start suffering horrendously with the symptoms of perimenopause, not knowing what it was.
mm,
So going to doctors for depression and anxiety, a real sense of loss of self, um,
mm,
lots of weight gain, growing hair, losing hair, uh, just not being able to feel like myself,
mm,
hot flashes, night sweats, you name it. I was building up and adding onto my list of perimenopausal symptoms. And I kept going to doctors, kept asking what's wrong with me. And
mm,
finally, after I moved to New Zealand when I was 40,
mm,
it took me 3 years to
mm,
convince my doctor here to send me to an endocrinologist. It's a very
mm.
different healthcare system. So it's a public system, and you have to be referred on to these
Right.
doctors, or you pay out of pocket, which can be quite a lot. So it took me 3 years to convince a doctor to send me to an endocrinologist because I was losing it. And that doctor finally gave me the diagnosis, "Oh, yeah, you're in perimenopause, and you'll be through menopause pretty soon."
Mm. I mean, it just, and when you're talking about the story of you're trying to get pregnant, and it's just so crazy that the doctor didn't even put two and two together.
Yeah,
That never crossed their mind.
or maybe it just didn't cross their mind to tell me. When you're and I think things have changed now, thank goodness, because w women are saying, enough of enough, the
Yeah.
mystery of aging, or the mystery of perimenopause, or the mystery of all these things, we're talking about them, which is so awesome. It's so refreshing.
Mhm.
But to be just sort of out of the loop, whether or not a doctor realizes it. I mean, perimenopause and menopause, I would say menopause, in a lot of healthcare systems is an elective. So as
Yeah.
a general practitioner, they just don't know what is going on with women's bodies. And a lot of times the tests that we've had throughout the years, everything has been tested on men.
Mhm.
Women haven't been really part of the healthcare system. We're taken as different to men when it comes to research, which is a huge failing on our society's parts for ignoring the differences of men and women and the impact that life has and the changes that we go through have on us.
Mm. I mean, when you talked about how you basically felt like you weren't yourself anymore,
Mm,
and I just I felt like it's just such a scary feeling to have because and sometimes at times I mean I'm 42 now, so I am sure I'm in perimenopause. And there are times where I felt like I'm floating, where I kind of don't really belong. And that really, and that kind of, it scares me, but also it's like, maybe I needed to know a bit more about my body and what's going on. And that drives me to have that conversation because of the conversation that people are having now. But back then, there weren't that many, or there were no celebrity like Halle Berry, Naomi Watts writing a book about it, right?
yeah.
I mean, how did you even navigate through that?
Um, it's a lot of self-reflection, a lot of self-acceptance to be in the yuck.
Mm,
That's not always easy for us, especially as
yeah.
driven women. We're constantly looked at for all the answers. And sometimes being okay with yourself and not knowing and feeling, oh God, which way do I go? I also found reading
Mm,
inspiration, books, things from inspirational people have always helped me. A lot of self
mm,
just reflection
mhm,
and also feeling okay, just okay in the space and being soft and easy on myself and going through the motions. And that I know it's easier to say now because I feel like my brain has completely been rewired through this entire experience.
mm,
I
mm,
feel almost like a different person now, actually gone through menopause
mhm,
and come out the other side of it and still suffering from a lot of the same ailments that and that's why we created Opal and Joy. But it's really important to know that, these is transitional phases and that's okay.
mm.
Going with emotions.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you mind sharing a little bit about some of the symptoms you had, so some of our listeners could maybe just understand that they're not alone. So what are the symptoms, like the most difficult symptoms that you actually experienced?
So the ones that finally put me over the edge that I thought I was going to lose my mind were the consistent hot flashes and night sweats. That is something that I take HRT for that has helped me immensely with that. It has been I was having for a while, during COVID, I was having them every half an hour for some days. Like they were just
Wow.
competitive. My body was fluctuating. That was a really, really hard symptom, but found a solution. The other one was not being able to sleep. So going to sleep, hitting the pillow, my mind racing, which it can. Finally going to sleep, waking up 3 in the morning, starting to go through the Rolodex of everything that could be possibly wrong in my life, having heart palpitations, then Googling what's happening to me, thinking I'm gonna have a heart attack, and
Mm,
then turn around and go, "Oh my god, I didn't do this today with work," and then spiraling, and then being exhausted, and then waking up with it to an alarm. So tired, couldn't sleep, sweating like crazy, just all the things. That was a really bad combination for me. That was some of the worst. And then finally, the last is the weight gain. I've gained a significant amount of weight through this
mhm,
this transformation, which can happen.
mhm,
And it was a lot less. I was sitting back and kind of going through the motions, but I wasn't proactively doing some of the things that I know now that I really should have been doing at an earlier age to help
mm,
me go through this stage of life. about lifting weights,
Mhm.
going for walks, being motivated to really spend time on myself,
Mm.
to physical fitness and things like that. So those are the main issues. The other ones you can kind of fix.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think sleep deprivation, that is definitely one of the worst symptoms. And it could just screw up your entire day, and then you feel too tired to even sleep. And I mean, when you talked about how your brain kind of goes through the Rolodex, I experienced that. I'm like,
Yeah,
isn't that just normal?
yeah. At this point in our lives, I think part of that's very normal, and learning how to relax and learning how to accept the things you cannot change and the things you have to let go of. And
Mm,
it's almost an art form, but you have to practice it because we learn to be those rush women, and we learn to take on a lot. We learn
yeah.
to worry, and we are inundated with lots of things to worry about. And it's I think, almost an art form to be able to really focus and think, okay, I've got to let this part of this go. And also, there's options out there to help you learn to sleep better. There's breathing exercises, there's meditation, there's ways to help calm, there's rituals, there's journaling. There's so many cool things that you can do for yourself. It's really about doing a little bit of research, finding what works for you, and incorporating that in your life,
Hmm.
and having the discipline to do it. And I think that's the hard part too, is the
Mm,
discipline.
yeah. And because you talked about all these different things and different tools, and I think for us, especially for women, we are here, and a lot of times we are caregivers, right? We have to take care of a lot of people in our company and our family. Even if we don't have kids, you ended up taking care of a lot of people.
Absolutely.
Um, and so having that tools ready to go in your toolbox, I think it's just so important. But like you said, you needed that discipline to actually practice and actually know which tool is for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So for you, I mean, do you mind quickly sharing what sort of tools that you have experienced that particularly works for you
Yeah.
that, yeah, gives you a better sleep or, just a better morning?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So good night's sleep sets you up for a good day the next day. A lot of the menopausal symptoms that I was having, I was thinking, if I could get a good night's sleep, and if I wake up not frantic and going crazy and then downing coffee because I'm so exhausted and exacerbating all these other issues. So a friend of mine who actually became a co-founder of Open Joy with, when you're in trouble and you look to your best friend, and your best friend sees you and says, "No, this isn't working. You need to
Mm,
figure this out." Yeah, my friend Melissa, she asked me if I had ever tried CBD. I'm from the organic natural products industry. I have worked with all kinds of products. I know everything about I know a lot about CBD. I never tried it for myself. And I thought, oh,
mm,
I'll give that a go. And CBD at night before bed, it helps me immensely.
mm,
And it was almost immediate. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is something that I need to incorporate in my life. It's like taking your vitamins, or and they work when you take them repetitively, and
mm,
you allow them to come in and be a part of your system.
mm,
And so I started taking CBD tinctures every night, and just I could fall asleep. I could stay asleep. If I woke up,
mm.
I could go back to sleep. It also helped some of the joint pain. So when you lose estrogen, this is a fun fact. Your joints
Mm,
hurt. They're not lubricated as well as they used to be.
mm,
And it almost feels like sometimes you have osteoarthritis, but you don't.
mm.
And I was taking CBD, and my joint pain, my hips and my hands, that that went away, so I could sleep better through those symptoms as well.
Wow.
And then my friend Melissa was like, "This is phenomenal. Let's find all the other really great adaptogens and things that you could take with this,
Mm,
so that it can help you through, these symptoms and help you become more relaxed,
Mhm.
help your brain so that when you wake up, you feel refreshed and you feel good to go. You're not
Mhm.
groggy. It's very
Mm.
different to the to
Yes.
like melatonin and things like that. So yeah, that's the one of the biggest things that I incorporated into my system, and it has changed my life.
Mm. I mean, how many years or how long did it take you guys to kind of formulate and find the perfect formula for the sleep aid?
It took us 4 years. We it took us, well, one, we live in New Zealand.
Mhm.
I moved here from Colorado. I was living in
Mhm.
Boulder. There's lots of really great formulations, but we needed to find the right female doctor that really understood
Right.
the endocannabinoid system and the endocrine system. These are the two systems that our products are really working on for women. And we finally found a great formulator. We did lots of trials. We figured out what was working best. It's about what the market can take as well. And because I come
Mhm.
from the organic background, and integrity is, as you know, is a really big thing to me.
Mhm.
It's finding the best quality ingredients. Filling our supplements are filled to the brim. Like, we don't have fillers. It is
Mm.
absolutely filled with the most efficacious products as we can.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
not like you're gonna eat one gummy and it's gonna solve everything. We've made a product specifically for sleep that's super efficacious. It's extremely integrity, with organic
Mhm.
ingredients as much as we possibly could, because we don't want endocrine disruptors in our products. So we
Yeah.
worked really hard, and it took us about 4 years to get it down.
Mm. 4 years. I mean, now, when I hear 4 years, okay, 4 years, but man, when you're just doing, you're in it and you're trying and you failed and you have to try it again, that must have taken a lot of, I mean, the resilience is definitely probably the most important quality. But in the midst of all of this, you are still a CEO of your own company. So you have two companies that you're running. I mean, how are you able to do that?
Yeah, well, one, you have to have a great team, and like-minded people around you. It doesn't always come to that one person. I might
Yeah.
have the title, but I wouldn't be where I am without everyone that's part of this ecosystem. I feel very much in service to the people that we work for, that we're benefiting. I feel very mission driven in everything I do, again. So if you can find those people that are also see life and your company and the roles that you play in the same way, you are off to a really great start. And it's really so important that you have great people that you can work with, and that really understand how to drive things forward in a way that's great for everyone.
Hmm.
You've
Yeah.
gotta lead with values. And then really, this is, I know it's corny, but I really believe in leading with love. Love
Hmm.
is love for the environment, love for, humankind, love for people,
Hmm.
because without that as a leadership, role, I don't think we could get very far in the world. We need more of that. We need to, to love ourselves, we need to love each other, we need to love our planet.
Mm. I mean, yes, we absolutely need way more than more, especially in these couple years. But I wanted to kind of dive in a little bit more on your idea of leadership because I think, I mean, it's just so incredible to hear your story. You're going through perimenopause and through even with all these different symptoms, you're still able to build a team, to build two companies, and it all comes from love. It's not coming from just profit. What are the things that you would actually shared with like, women that are going into leadership that really had not much of an experience, but what would you kind of advise them?
The kind of advice I'd give women, one is that we need to be proud of who we are and where we are in our lives. We need to normalize where we are. We're at this age where we're most of us are at the top of our game professionally. By the time you hit your 50s, late 40s, 50s,
Yeah.
your kids are going through, if they haven't already, they're going through puberty.
My
You're
goodness.
taking care of your parents. You've got the most responsibility you could probably ever think of in your life.
Mhm, mhm.
All is crashing down with a lot of, there's a lot of uncertainty out there as well.
Yep.
It's a really grounding experience to make sure that you're taking care of yourself and you're not just showing up and presenting and being everything to everyone other than
Mhm,
yourself. That's a
mhm,
huge change because when you start focusing on yourself and making sure that you're the best that you can be for everyone else, I think that helps you become the leader that you need to be. It's
mhm,
very hard to do. As women, we over and over and over, I see so many women putting themselves back when
mhm,
they need to be putting themselves forward. Women keep saying, "I'm sorry," all
mhm.
the time because it's written in I come from the South in the United States originally, and we say sorry after every single thing, and it's changing the way that we feel and we show up and how we believe others should be treated. And again, it's practicing and it's those rituals and it's making sure that you really are the best that you can be for yourself and being kind to yourself is absolutely critical.
Yeah, like you said, I think it's so difficult to do, and that's something I'm trying to unlearn. All these things that I was told, you got to be a good girl, a nice girl, be nice to everyone, even if they're not nice to me, I should be nice to
Yeah.
them. And yeah, saying sorry, saying excuse me, even if it's not my fault, where I'm not
Yeah.
the one that bump into people. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, why am I saying sorry? Wait,
Yeah.
wait a second. But it's a lot of unlearning and rewiring, your
Mhm.
brain again. So, like you said, I think I felt like every year I'm like a different person.
Yeah.
Um, and it is a really grounding experience, like you said, because you have to take care of so many people in different aspects of your life. You absolutely need to look inward and really take care of ourselves first. I mean, what are the things that you do to take that ownership, even though people are maybe asking you for help, but you're just like, okay, hold on one second, let me take care of myself in this very moment.
Yeah. You've a lot of times you could schedule yourself time.
Mm,
That's really important to do if you're really busy. I think too, there's a lot of the way that you speak to people. There's kindness and then there's falling over backwards to
mm,
feel like you have to prove yourself to somebody. The power of no
mm,
in a very nice way, finding alternatives for the situation. I get asked a lot to, can I help be at an AGM for a certain part of the sector? And I just cannot do it
mm,
all for everyone all the time. And then, so part of that is saying, I really love to let me find this alternative way that you can move forward and problem solve
mm.
and working together as a team because you want the best for them rather than just saying nope. There's a lot of
Yeah.
power behind no, but there's a lot of power in let's find the best case scenario here.
Mm, mhm,
And when you know your constituents and you know your customers or you know the people that you're showing up for, there's a lot of win-win situations and there's a lot of empathy that
mhm,
translates into that. And that helps you free up the time for you to
mhm,
be to be in charge of your own sort of calendar and destiny of what your time is gonna go and how you work towards the goals that you
mhm.
have personally.
Yeah.
And you need to have those personal goals in your life. Otherwise, you just become a workhorse and you will lose yourself completely in that. And when it's tough going with menopause or the transitions that you have and you're having some hard times it will exacerbate. And I've learned this the hard way. I've learned to have to deal with these things because if not, I was losing my mind.
Mm,
And it's just the way that you show up for everybody and the type of
hmm.
leader that you want to be in that situation and making sure that you're a priority in that.
Wow. I mean, do you actually actively schedule time for yourself in your calendar?
Yes, I do.
So, what do you
You should
usually
see my
do?
calendar looks crazy, but I have,
Yeah.
I have I color code it to, my daughter's and my husband's stuff is in one code. There's my
Mm-hmm.
stuff in another. There's,
Mm,
my another company's or color code. It looks like Rainbow Brights like vomited on my screen, but it works for me
mm-hmm.
and it does that. And then I set goals. I have a goal that I want to hike up this really cool hill that overlooks town. We're coming out of
Wow.
winter in New Zealand at the moment.
Yeah.
It rains a lot and it's just hideous. But I know, okay, I want to hit this goal of mine. I want to walk up there 10 times. If it's a sunny day, like that's my goal. And I think on the weekend, like, what do I need to do? We also have,
Mm,
animals. We just had 4 baby lambs. So it's getting out, going to see them. It's having all these other hobbies and interests, and you have to show up for them. We have dogs, we have to walk, so
yeah.
we make it hard for ourselves to to sit around.
I know. I'm like, wow, how do you have time? Do you have color coded for the animals as
No,
well?
no, but that's a good idea. I do put in my calendar when we had the first lamb, and then we had a single, and then a mom had a triplet, and so we have to go out and make sure that the triplets are okay.
Yeah. Oh
But I
my
do mark it when
goodness.
they're born. They're
Oh
just
my
cute.
goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're incredible. I'm learning so much from you, and I think it's so important to set personal goal, go hike up a mountains or go to this destination that you really want to. That is so important because that is for you, right? I think as moms, we often forget that we need our own achievement
Yes.
when it comes to outside of work. We still need our own achievement. And I don't think I've ever really thought about that. And I think I see a lot of moms, they use their kids' achievement as their own achievement.
Yep.
And I think a lot of tiger mom, I don't know. I mean, I don't want it to say I'm not a tiger mom, but I've seen a lot of moms
Yep.
around me. I think that's kind of how they wire their brain. I mean, I don't know if it actually works for them, but I could imagine that could result in a lot of the uncertainties and eventually they may resent it because
I was
if
going
the
to say the
right?
the bitterness that might come with that because you've lost yourself and
Yeah.
your identity and who you are in your children. And I want to show up for my daughter as much as I possibly can. I also work a lot. There's always going to be, a little mom guilt
Yeah.
in there, but my husband and I, he's great. We make it work, and we're there for each other, and we alternate. It's not always easy. I mean, it's. I don't want to paint this rosy thing, but again, that self love is
Mm,
about letting go. Right?
yeah.
It's about saying, no,
Mm,
I cannot show up to be the perfect to everybody, and if I
mm-hmm,
don't show up for myself, this is going to
mm,
be really disastrous. And then you start filtering, there's the guilt and the pain of feeling, the bitterness or missing out, and all of a sudden your 40s are gone and you're like, what the heck just happened to me? There's a decade I haven't even done anything. And I'm living, I'm telling you through experience, and really that self-work and really getting your brain around, I can't show up and be the best person for myself, and I'm not going to show up and be the best person for everybody else. And it's okay to
mm-hmm,
spend that time for me because I want to show up and be that person.
mm, mm. I really love that. And I think as any women out there who are very career driven, I think it's a really good advice because I think we see that on social media that, oh, taking me time, you have to take a bubble bath, you have to go for a spa. That seems to be the only
No.
options. And then,
Yeah.
but I think for a lot of women, we're very career driven. It's like, I don't want a bubble bath. Like that's not
No.
achievement, right? I don't feel anything from it.
No. Yeah, I mean, a bath is nice, especially if you need to relax. That
Yeah.
I like that kind of stuff in the evening to help, you know.
Yeah.
But I show up differently. I mean, I'm a really cerebral person too, so I love to think a lot, and I think deeply on the things that I need and need to do for myself. And I've had to train myself and work on that to say, show up and, again, that you're worth it. And when you push aside some of that self-doubt or not having the love for yourself to be able to put that time in and think about what it is for you to show up for you, then it's really hard to get there. It's not easy, but you've got to start thinking,
Mm,
what do I need for me? What do I need for me? If I show up for me, what does that look like? And you could do a whole journaling session on it. If you're, a journaler, I like to
yeah.
write a lot. I like to write poetry. I like to do all
Mm,
kinds of like random things, but that makes me feel happy for me. And it helps me spend some time and just whew, bring
yeah.
it down.
Right. Yeah. And I think one of the things that I started to do for myself, like you said, asking that question, okay, today I'm not feeling great. What can I do for myself? And to actually differentiate what my ego wants and what I actually want. Because I think a lot of times my ego would come up and be like, no, you got to do this. Here are all the tasks that you have to do. And and then I kind of get distracted and then I still feel depleted at the end of the day. But I don't know if that it's something that you also had to really be self-aware of, or is it just me? But I feel like
No, no,
my ego comes up a lot.
totally. Well, the panic button sometimes of like, well, you could be further ahead if you did this.
Yeah.
Whether or not that really serves a lot of value in what you're trying to achieve for yourself and getting kind of
Hmm.
clear on what makes you happy, makes
Mm,
achieve your goals in life. A lot of times we have this sort of busy syndrome where we feel like we
hmm.
have to be busy all the time. And there are times where I'm so busy is just disgusting. But then when I can step back, I'm like,
Mm,
I'll spend a day or half a day in bed, like sleeping. I'll catch
hmm.
up on, I will binge watch Netflix like crazy. Sometimes you just need to turn it off and
Yeah.
have that time, but you need to be self-accepting of when you need to
Hmm.
sleep or you need to have that opportunity and make arrangements or, my daughter goes to Nana and Granddad's and I can go take a day to do something for myself. You
Mm,
got to let go of the guilt,
yeah.
and it's really hard, and it's hard when you feel like you're not performing all the time as well.
Yes.
That can be really hard, and I work really like intensely hard, especially when it's around project time and certain development, or that we've got certain tasks that we just have to get done. I take that responsibility really high and I'll do everything I can to make it, especially if it's writing paper, all kinds of research or something. But when we come back from that, I take the time for myself. You got to
Mm,
recoup. You got to be able to to do what you can. When you have, 9 to 5 jobs too, that's really difficult very often because you kind of need to set a pace sometimes because there's expectations. New Zealand's very different in time on time off than it is for, in other countries. I know, especially
yeah.
in the States, it's hard to get that mental time off, but you need that, those
Uh-huh.
sick days to almost just regroup mentally a lot of
Yeah.
times, and especially during perimenopause. In New Zealand, 12% of
Hmm.
women leave the workforce during
Mm.
perimenopause.
Wow.
It's a
Just
huge
left. My God.
economic, I mean, economic impact. And
Yeah.
that's just, in the US, around the world, I am sure there's a lot of women with all of the stress, all of the guilt, all that have to be the perfect to perform, perform, perform. It catches up with you and you have
Mm.
to take time for yourself and care for yourself and love yourself to get through it.
But imagine because women in perimenopause that's the peak of the career. They
Yes.
have accumulated so much experience. They know what
Yeah.
to do and how to do it. And then,
Yeah.
yeah, it's so crazy to think about it.
It is. And it's so awesome that we're talking about it. And this is why I'm so
Mm,
passionate, because I want to help as many women out there as possible, because we have to be in this together. We have to
hmm.
support each other. It's 51% of the entire world basically goes through a second puberty, is what I like to call it, because we're so kind to our teenagers and our,
Yes.
preteens as they go through this. And we've got, all these cool new inventions like period underwear and like all this stuff that I wish I had when I was younger. And we're so careful, and it's like, well, why don't we do the same thing to women when we go through this later in life? Where is all that kindness? And why aren't we
Yes.
talking about these issues? And why aren't we opening up to solutions? Because there
Yeah.
really hadn't been anything other than HRT for a long time.
Hmm, hmm,
Now there's lots of cool things on the market.
hmm.
I created this one thing for sleep that helped me, and I'm hoping, help lots of other women. There's lots of other things that you can do. You can go get blood tests for your doctor if you've got different things
Hmm.
going on, like diabetes comes in, obesity comes in a lot during this period of time. There's people with iron issues. I mean, all kinds of things. Go to the doctor, get checked out, figure out what's going on, and make a plan for you to help you get through this, because there's solutions out there, and it's just a bit of
Yeah.
work to find a doctor that believes that you're going through perimenopause and it's a thing, and then finding solutions. And you can trial lots of different things. Just
Hmm.
make sure your supplements are from companies with integrity, because there's a lot of junk on the market, and it's not a very regulated industry. And you would just want to make sure that the supplier that you're getting any kind of products
Hmm.
from are legit.
I need to get that information from you.
Yes.
Please. And
You don't
I'll
want to
share
get
it with,
poisoned, and
yeah, I don't.
you don't want to get too much, of a good
Mhm.
thing that you think you're getting. You just need to
Yeah.
have reputable brands.
Hmm. And I wanted to kind of mention that what you said earlier about we're going through second puberty. I love that.
Yes.
And even think about it. I mean, there's so many educators out there teaching parents how to communicate with your, teens and preteens and teenagers, but really no one out there to teach how do you communicate with women who's going through this
Yeah,
in the workforce? Because again, we're,
absolutely.
we're everywhere. Yeah. Like,
Huge, huge
mm,
opportunity for someone to go into that. Massive. It needs to happen.
yeah, it really does. I mean, I mean, even I think a couple years ago, I was watching a video. I think Dr. Mindy. She talked about a lot of the hormones, and she was sharing a story about a couple of companies that she knows, like that. All the women actually put up their cycles on the
Wow.
calendar,
Yeah.
so all the men in the company they actually know. And I'm like, that's actually really cool.
That's really out there. Wow. That's, yeah. I mean, it is really cool to
Hmm.
normalize
Yeah.
all of this, right? I remember did a study abroad in Nepal. We were told as a cultural thing, like, do not let anyone know when you start your period, because you
Hmm.
will, like, some of the men in the house might require you to live somewhere else during that period of time.
Wow. Okay.
Right? I mean, that's the
Yeah.
different kind of culture, but it made me think, wow, we don't really even talk about periods, and it's sort of like hiding things all the time.
Hmm.
And when you grow up with that, and now we've got all these Gen X women going through perimenopause, and millennial women going through, perimenopause, and it's like, yeah, that's not really working out for us anymore. We need to change the game, because the demands that we think society has on us, and the pressure that we have,
Hmm.
and the way too much information that we see online, it really can compound at a period of time, and it's really, really hard. And we need everybody to just start normalizing that this is the reality of life.
Yeah.
Women, go through menopause.
Yes. And it's a really big chunk of the time. I mean, like basically a decade to what, 15 years, right? Perimenopause to menopause.
Yeah.
And and I think it's really important to for even younger people to know, hey, your manager probably is going through that. And how
Yeah.
do you communicate with your manager when you know that she's not feeling great? Do you just say, oh no, she's just emotional? Or do you try to phrase things differently? Or again, I think for her, for her managers, then letting her to take that personal day off so then she
Yeah.
could recharge. I think it's just so important to have that conversation and not just, I think majority of the men that I know my age would be like, "Oh, you're having period," and they would just walk away.
Yeah. I don't want to know.
Exactly. It's so fun to talk about this with you because I feel like, again, it's about that education and turning the lessons that you had into gold and into something that we can all have and all shared. And I remembered on your website, you talked about this phrase. Is it perimenopause? Right?
Perimenopause. Yes. And
Yeah.
this is basically what we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
It's it's letting go of the shame, right?
Mm,
Shame of when you got your period and
yeah.
and that like, oh, what do I do? And it's the same with menopause.
Mm,
It's empowering yourself, really learning about your body, what's happening, and taking action so you can be the best you, and being proud of where you are in in this stage of life, and look
yeah.
forward to what's ahead.
Yeah.
And really want to help women embrace that and feel
Mm,
it and
mm,
be like, yes, this is my life. I am moving through this, and it can kind of suck sometimes, but hey, I'm going to find the options. I'm going to do the things that support myself through this and take charge of that
yeah.
opportunity.
Right. And I think that is the really important point is that taking that shame away. And I don't know why as women we carry so much shame about a lot of different things.
It's yes.
Yeah. And even like when we talked about earlier, we're ashamed of taking break. We feel like we have to earn it somehow. And if we don't earn it, then we shouldn't be taking break. And that
Yeah.
was something that I actually had to really unlearn, especially this year. Just go to just nap. If you want to nap, nap. Like
Yeah,
I don't need to give myself any kind of excuse to do so.
absolutely. It is. And yeah, you're so right. As women, we have, I think we innately carry shame for so many things that are so natural. Sex, puberty,
Mm-hmm.
menopause, all the things
Mm-hmm.
that are related to basically changing of our hormones and, and, and our vaginas, like where all of a sudden we're like, oh, and it's unfortunate, but we have an opportunity to change that narrative.
Mm. And I actually know that you joined the Brene Brown's Dare to Lead program.
I did.
Yeah, and I'm so interested to know more about it because I feel like that is it's so relevant and it has a lot to do with holding that soft power. So I kind of wanted to see, how do you feel about your experience taking that program and do you see any kind of relevancy when it comes to soft power and how do you use that in your life and in your career?
Yeah. So I love that soft power, right? And soft power is not a weakness. It's strength without domination.
Mm.
And it's you know what I mean? Without aggressive, it's just a beautiful way to think
Mhm.
about power. The
Yeah.
Brene Brown, the Dare to Lead is based off the book. You can buy the
Yeah.
book, and there's exercises and stuff. But there was a training that I did, and
Mm.
there are trainers around the world actually that you can take these programs through. So Google it and check it out. I highly recommend it. And it really does a deep dive on shame and does a deep dive on what you feel, because what you understand what you feel, then you understand how other people are. If you really do a deep dive on yourself and how you feel, and what are the issues or what are the causes and reactions that you might be saying something and reacting a specific way because you feel all of these deep emotions, and
Yeah, yeah.
uncovering those emotions and naming those emotions
Mm-hmm.
really helps you identify with other people and helps you
Mm,
become a better human
mm-hmm.
and a better coworker and a better leader, because you're understanding that we all have so much behind just the facade and the words that come out of our mouth. And I love the idea of, for me, when we looked at different ways of how you resonate with leadership, mine really was love. And
Mm,
looking at people and saying, we have so much love for yourself, love for your children and your family and humanity, and for the environment. Those are things that I deeply love. And when I carry that love, I know other people do too.
mm-hmm.
I know that there's so much that's out there that we just don't know and recognize. And yet we have to believe, for me, that people are come to the table and to life with this characteristics of, I want to be better. I want
Yeah.
to make the world better. I wish we could do all these wonderful things. I love my family. I love this. And we have those
Mm-hmm.
things that resonate between us. And when you trust in that, you really, the way that you empathize with people and the way that you can communicate can change, and that can change so drastically between people. Y- Amazing things can happen.
Mm,
I've seen it over and over. If you come aggressive and you come with not much cerebral ideas, behind the words, and you come with this aggression, you're not really fully embracing what's going on in your mind, what's going on behind the scenes. Why are you coming to the table so aggressively? What type of shame is there that's causing this outrage?
right.
And it's such a cool way to relate to people, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I just want to carry on with the idea that people love and I love, and we'll find an answer.
Yeah. And I mean, I think from what you just said, to me, soft power almost it seems like it's a love from within.
Yes.
And it's the love without shame coming from within, and you empower that. If you hold that, embrace that, then you actually could spread that love everywhere you go. And I think that is a superpower, especially for women as well,
Yeah.
is that we're able to reach that and understand that just with life experience. And I think for a lot of women, such as yourself, high achieving, incredible leaders, I think it's so important for us to know that because we actually get to impact others as well.
Yeah. And spread the love. As cheesy as it could sound, I just think it's the way we have to move forward in life. And it starts with yourself and being kind with yourself too. And if we can embrace that and we can keep this communication open, and this empathy and this desire for more love, and then we can definitely get places.
Yeah. No, I mean, just watching you, you really inspired me. The fact that you're running two companies in a
You're
different
sweet.
time zones and you're having a team and yes, love can really conquer it all, but I think it needs to come from within and taking that shame away from it. That is really important. And when you said about being kind to yourself, and there's a huge difference between being kind and being nice. And I think kindness comes from within first.
Mm,
Sometimes niceness is just you're trying to people please and you're trying to fit in,
yeah.
right? But I think women, especially we get to our age, we're just like, screw that. No more. And yeah, I just kind of want to quickly to wrap it up, but also talk a little bit about your beautiful product. So your product's actually sold in United States for now, right?
It is. Yep, just the US. Because some of our products have CBD in them, there's a lot of rules around CBD, and so we're selling just online at the moment. And so, yeah, we're just selling in the US, and different countries have different rules. So we'll start with the US first.
Yeah.
And they're manufactured in Colorado and based in Colorado. So
Mm. Oh, I mean, I yeah, I don't think I can get it in Taiwan right now because of the
no, not yet,
regulation. Not
unfortunately.
yet, but hopefully, hopefully.
Yep, it's DC at the moment. So,
Okay.
and we launched in January of this year. So we're just past the 6 months mark. It's opalandjoy.com. Opal was my great grandmother's name, and Joy was my business partner, Melissa. It was her grandmother's name. And we really were thinking about all the women that
Mm,
came before us that
mm,
probably suffered in silence. We think we're not talking much about this now. Our grandparents and our great grandparents didn't think about this. They didn't talk about this at all.
no, not at all.
Women were getting electric shock therapy for menopause, and you could go back to the witch hunts and the Salem trials. A lot of the theories around some of these older women going through perimenopause.
Wow.
Yeah, there's crazy history around this, and so we were thinking about
Mm-hmm.
paying, honoring our ancestors and the women, our foremothers, and wanting to change the situation.
Mm.
So
So
that's
wait,
why we named it Opal and
so are
Joy.
witches just women going through menopause?
Possibly. That would be hilarious if we started the rumor. I guess I'm a witch.
We're powerful.
We're all powerful witches. Oh, yes,
Y-
I love that.
Yeah, I'm actually loving that now. And I think that's
Get your witch
also,
on.
yeah, that's also why the more, now that I'm going back and watch some of the Disney movies,
Yes.
and I'm like, the villains, I start to understand them.
You're starting to relate. You're like,
Yeah.
yeah. The woman, the one in the mirror, who's the fairest of them all. You're like, yeah, your days are over. It's the next gen. How do you
Yeah.
feel about aging?
Yeah. I mean, I can get, why she's getting so pissed off and why.
It's just not working out, and she's tired of it. Yeah, she needs a little more self-love though, and and a little more empathy. But otherwise, yeah, I guess we can all relate.
Yeah, we can relate.
That's awesome. Oh, so when I watch the next one, I'm gonna totally have that in my head. Oh,
Yeah.
that's great.
No,
I'll have
start
to
relating
revisit
to the
those.
villains and the witches because apparently
Yeah. It's, it's fun. It's really, it's so cool to be able to talk about all these things. And I love your podcast. I think it's so great. And the way that you interview it, and this is really, really lovely. So
I know.
congratulations to you for doing something really cool and putting it out in the universe so we can all appreciate it.
No, thank you. Thank you for joining me on this journey. And oh my goodness, like I feel like I had so much fun. I feel like I just talked to a friend who I've never
Yeah,
met in person.
I know.
Um,
It's so cool.
and then we all love witches now.
Yeah, I've got that. I'm already wow, I've got a whole plan around that, a whole marketing strategy now.
Yeah. Um,
Cool.
yeah. So I need to wrap it up because I know you're so busy. And thank you so much, Tiffany. I would love to
Yes.
talk to you again. Hope
Oh,
there's a
totally.
part
We're friends
two.
now. Well, if I'm in Taiwan, I'm coming to see you, so we're all good.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. Have a good night.